Central Michigan Chippewas. Second meeting in the last 3 seasons between these two programs, and both rosters actually look quite a bit different than they did just 2 years ago.
Number 2 for Marquette, Chase Ross, has been a guy who stepped up. We knew that David Joplin and Cam Jones were going to have big seasons, and they've started out that way, but Joplin with the steal has been terrific in the early going.
And that's one thing that they've been wanting to do. You know, Shaka has been preaching deflections, and that goes back all the way to when I was playing and way before that. And you love to see it start off the bat with a steal.
I think there were a couple of deflections, actually, right out of the opening tip. That counter is already going for Marquette. Here's Stevie Mitchell with a nice up and under.
It's a great move right there. I mean, it's an underrated thing. That's something that needs to be practiced more. Playing off 2 feet, you see he was able to stay under control and read his keys.
And that's something that they do with consistency whenever you're in practice. It's an everyday focus. As another long shot, and this is when Marquette's deadly. Getting out in transition, you have multiple guys who can push it, and decisions are made quickly. And this man right here, Cam Jones, is a problem off the bounce.
That's one thing Central Michigan said they wanted to do. They wanted to get up 30 to 40 threes. It's about it. Can we take care of the ball? Can we rebound and force tough shots?
Brian Jonga with the steal, and that's Anthony Pritchard, the reigning MAC Defensive Player of the Year, with the bucket.
Last season, they were first in defense in the MAC, and I don't know about you gentlemen, I have a lot of respect for that league. It's incredibly well coached, a lot of tough, hard-nosed teams. Central Michigan's defense was terrific last season. They picked up where they've left off so far.
Ben Gold misses the 3. The first meeting between these two programs was in December 2008. Wesley, the start of your senior season. We pulled up the box score from that game.
We did. That was a hack, that game.
Battled some foul trouble, but still got it done for Marquette. Watch out. Ross fouled on the dunk attempt.
You love to see that. You know, Central Michigan came out early with a lot of energy. That's what you expect. You know, you want to see Marquette as a veteran team to settle in. You see Chase show the ball, show a 3, attack the basket, get to that strong left hand. Let's get a rhythm at the free throw line.
And I think another thing you're going to see too, guys, is Central Michigan, when they score, they're able to get certain possessions to where the game slows down. You're going to see them extend pressure out, maybe not necessarily to cause turnovers. They'll live with turnovers, but to slow down the pace of the game and make Marquette play in the half court.
Yeah, I mean, uncomfortable. That's what you want to try to do on the defensive end, especially when you're on the road. You want to take the crowd out of the game. You want to take any kind of emotion out and play with pressure.
One more free throw for Chase Ross, the junior. He's just 5 for 10 at the free throw line through Marquette's first 2 games. Wins over Stony Brook and George Mason, but 2 for 2 to start this ball game.
You see after free throws, Shaka loves to employ a full court 1-2-2 press. And again, along the same line, slow up tempo, let some of your athletes get out in the passing lanes and make teams uncomfortable.
Yep, and just another way to continue to control the game, eat into the shot clock, make you have to play your sets further out of court from where you practice, maybe speed up tempo, try to rush the shots you don't like.
Caden Vasco with a long heave over to Pritchard. He gets the shot off before the shot clock expires, but it's a brick, so a shot clock violation. Marquette ball.
See Tony Barbie less than thrilled. Spent some time as head coach at Auburn. Now done a nice job at Central Michigan. Recruiting above his head, really. I mean, he's got some really talented players on this Chippewas basketball team that hang around. Anthony Pritchard, we talked about him at the beginning, terrific defensively. That's a tough move. That's a very good move. But decided to stay around.
Well, Tony Barbie's in his 4th season, and so is Shaka Smart. And this long time ago, the summer of 2021, when guys like Cam Jones and David Joplin were coming into the program, now they're seniors.
And that's just Shaka building on the tradition and the history that Marquette is. You know, you got 4-year guys that, you know, love it. Obviously, you know, the way the college game landscape is now, I mean, the transfer portals and all that, when you can get guys that come here and they stay here and they want to finish out, you know, their career here, that means a lot, and that's a lot of testament to
I think retention's lost, right, Wes?
Absolutely.
Like retention's lost, and Shaka's been able to hold on to these guys. The only power conference team over the last 3 years that hasn't taken a transfer. And he has stayed the route of recruiting freshmen and developing and getting those guys to stay in for 4 years is important.
And that's how you keep belief. And that's as a kid wanting to go to school, you know, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to be developed. Not just where you're going to tell me, oh, I can be this, I can be that, you're going to pay me this. Obviously, you know, money and funds are great, you know, but being able to develop and become the best basketball player that you can be, the best man that you can be, you know, that's volumes too.
Central Michigan down 6-4, and that's Jacoby Hetty, who misses the mid-range jumper, but Ugnis Jarushevicius with a great offensive rebound, but the shot on the wrong side of the backboard.
Another deflection. I think Shaka will take that. Not the offensive rebound, but hey, you stay in the play.
Got to keep Big Oogie off the glass, man. The big Lithuanian, he's not small. He understands his role. He has some skill, but more than anything, this is a guy who's going to attack the offensive boards and play off Pritchard and some of these other guards.
There's a foul called on Marquette's Ben Gold, his first.
And you don't mind it. You don't want too many cheap ones, but that was an aggressive one within the scheme, trying to impact the ball. And, you know, again, you don't want too many ones because of how valuable Ben is to this team.
Pritchard around the screen. Other starting guard for Central Michigan, Caden Vasco has it now. Quickly double teamed, and it's ripped away by Chase Ross. 2-on-2. Ross draws the foul.
He's aggressive. He's aggressive. He reminds me a lot of my teammate, good friend Jarrell McNeil.
How so?
Well, he has a knack to be around the ball, and that's a skill. You know, that's one of those things that's very underrated. He finds the ball, whether it's on the glass, whether another person has it, whether this guy has it, you know, and he wants it. Like, here he comes. He comes off of his man. He reads. Your back is turned, and you're taught that. If they turn your back to you and you've got that kind of talent and ability, then you attack the ball and you're going to make that play.
That's part instinctual, too. And he has those defensive instincts whenever you see a guy put his head down.
Absolutely. And you also got to have that trust from your coach, you know, and your players.
Ross misses his first free throw of the night. A guy that is stepping into a larger role this season. Always been a good defender for the program, but you know, leadership is such a big part of Shaka Smart's coaching philosophy, and that they're asking Ross to step into a larger leadership role as well.
Has every athletic intangible that you would want in a basketball player. 6'4", long arms, strong, athletic, coachable. Coachable, I mean, yeah, coachable is probably the most important, but with all those tools, I mean, the sky's the limit. They've needed that extra guy.
Absolutely. And he's stepping up.
Pritchard tried to throw a lob to Hunter Harding. It was tipped. Another deflection. There's another by Stevie Mitchell. Mitchell on the ball right now for Marquette, up 3. Gold takes a 3. Little bit short, and the rebound jostled and eventually controlled by Hetty. This is Pritchard now. The drop off to Jonga. And Jonga stepped out of bounds. Marquette ball.
I like that. That's good verticality. He walled him up, forced a turnover, and you know what? You see a lot of guys drop their heads after a missed shot. He didn't. Shot it with confidence.
And he wasn't even close.
Did he step out?
Was completely over the white line upon seeing the replay.
Able to talk to Tony Barbie about Jonga today. And he said he's a really smart kid, but every now and then you scratch your head and wonder what's going on.
David Joplin with an air ball 3, and then a foul underneath in the battle for the rebound. It goes against Marquette. Golden Eagles off and running. They lead Central Michigan 7-4. Just underway inside Fiserv Forum. With Terrence Oglesby and Wesley Matthews, Chris Foster's on hand. Number 15, Marquette. On top 7-4 over the Central Michigan Chippewas out of the MAC. Early story in this one, Terrence. Marquette's forcing CMU to cough the ball up.
Well, they focus on deflections, already 11 of those, but 5 turnovers, letting Marquette get out and run and play in space, most notably Chase Ross, who you compared to Jarrell McNeil. I love that. We're going to be able to take a look at some of these plays, just hounding the ball relentlessly. And that young man, Chase Ross, is as good as it gets.
Yeah, and again, that's just instincts. You know, you see a back turn, you got to be aware of what Chase Ross is, because he's attacking the basketball, he's attacking spin moves, and yeah, like I said, that's very Jarrell McNeil-like.
15:52 to go in the first half. Happy Veterans Day, by the way. Veterans in attendance were acknowledged here inside Fiserv Forum during the timeout. We saw Central Michigan in shoot-around today practicing breaking Marquette's press, and they have a chance to work against it in the game right away here in the first half.
Well, you know they're going to extend pressure, and in the half court it's going to be a bear. Can't have silly fouls, though, and that's part of Caden Hamilton's development as a redshirt freshman.
Absolutely. I mean, that comes with reps. You know, you want to go out there, you want to do right, you want to pressure, and sometimes you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You know, it's a learning lesson. You know, he's got some vets over there to talk him on that, and you know, just we can't put silly fouls with a back turn. You know.
He got into the game with 16:04. He's out of the game with 15:40 because he's got 2 fouls. And that's the hardest part about adjusting to the college game, is playing with that level of physicality,
right,
without playing with your hands and being overly physical.
And a lot of it is doing your work early. And again, that comes with time, that comes with preparation. And that's big.
A tough shot by Jacoby Hetty.
Great offense is always going to be great defense.
I thought he was going to travel.
And shout out to Jacoby. He's a Hillcrest. We're talking a lot about Jarrell McNeil. Jacoby is from Hillcrest, Chicago, Illinois, where Jarrell is from. And he's having a good year.
Here he is again. Hetty.
He can heat up. Marquette's got a rebound, and push. There they go. Fill the lanes.
Cam Jones looking for his first points of the night. Trey Norman, number 5, Zay Lowry, number 7, are on the floor, along with Royce Parham, and the freshman drops it in the well.
Great basketball. The thing about that, what makes that play so dangerous is, one, you got Cam going to his left hand. You got the big who knows his job to roll. And then the biggest thing is you have off-ball spacing, which Marquette is great at. They do a lot of weaves, handoffs, pick and rolls. In order for any of that to work, you've got to be unselfish. And the guys on the backside will space perfectly.
And then they move the defense. But this is ridiculous. Jacoby Hetty gaining his footing.
That's a
6'6". Those things help.
Yeah, that's a pro shot.
Then you see the ball change sides of the floor. You get to the top, down to the corner, quick slip. The defense moves on the backside. That's a big-time shot by Royce Parham, a freshman who I think has a world of potential in a Golden Eagles uniform.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of someone else that plays here in Milwaukee. A good friend of mine, old teammate Bobby Portis.
That's a great comparison.
Guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, can score when you need him to.
Can score when you need him. He's going to be rugged, defend, energy, space the court.
Cam Jones, hook to Parham. Jones with scoring outputs of 32 and 24 in the first 2 games this season, but he steps out of bounds.
A little too close to comfort, tries to attack.
Right idea.
Big Ugnes.
Right idea.
But my man's fleet of foot.
Are we sure it's
the big Lithuanian getting out there on drop coverage, able to force to the baseline. Right idea, trying to find somebody cutting to the basket.
And we were curious to see how that matchup was going to be with them in drop coverage and these guards that can attack quickly. Marquette's extending their defense pressure.
Look at the physicality.
A lot of these guys, I mean, they're catching the ball and they're turning their backs right away, which is what you want.
Kyler Vanderjack is
thus far.
I got you now.
But he's got all kinds of ability. 6'4", can score it. An excellent third piece. And another scorer coming in off the bench. be honest with you guys, through the early going, Central Michigan, you see why this team is going to be towards the top of the Mid-American Conference. I mean, they've got scorers in Pritchard. You have Vanderjagt coming off the bench. He can create some offense, as you saw, getting into the lane. And one guy that we haven't talked about a lot, number 2, Caden Vasco, really talented player, lead guard, 6'6", and we see Central Michigan getting out and establishing their pressure again just to slow down tempo.
Slow down tempo, play at half court, give yourself a chance to stay in front of these quick Marquette guards who, you know, they play with a lot of movement.
CMU lost its home opener to Stony Brook on a last-second layup. And so they come in here 1-1. Marquette beat Stony Brook by 40, you might remember. But here's Vanderjagt on the feed from Pritchard, who gets it back, and CMU swings it around.
And one thing, guys, we haven't seen through the first 2 games for Marquette, not a whole lot of bench production in the scoring department. That's one where you might be pressing a little bit. Terrific defense, and now you can get out and run. There's another deflection. Make the easy pass. And there's an example right there. Baseline drag, baseline drift. Got to be cleaner.
Yeah,
right?
just those little things, you know, those things that are controllable, you know, even right there on that outlet catch. Run a little wider, run a little faster, be more crisp on your drive. Royce, get to that corner, space the court properly, give the ball freedom, give your body freedom so that you're not stepping on that line in tight quarters.
Wes, I got a question for you, because one of the biggest things we hear college coaches talk about all the time, you played 15 years in the NBA, passing and catching is one of the most underrated skills. How much easier as a great shooter that you were was it when you caught it right in the pocket?
I mean, you know how it is. I mean, you can shoot someone in the makes, you can shoot someone or pass someone in the makes, pass someone in the misses. And it gets frustrating at times. You know, you're ready, your feet are set, your mind is right, and if that ball isn't delivered where it needs to be, not only does it mess you up, it gives the opportunity for the defense to make a play and a shot that might be the best look at that possession. And right now, you know, Marquette needs to step up and to space the court. They need to settle themselves down because, I mean, Central Michigan is playing hard, which is what is going to be expected. You know, you can't let their pressure take anything away from what you guys do.
Another thing is, you get an open shot against Central Michigan who's really defending,
yes.
You got to shoot it.
You got to shoot it.
Ben Gold on that right 45, he was presented with an opportunity. This is a good look at an athletic team with quicker guards. You got Maryland coming in, or you're going to Maryland on Friday.
Right.
So you're going to have to make quick decisions. When you're open, it has to happen immediately. We have an off-the-ball foul. I think it's a good call. Central Michigan physical right now.
Yes. I mean, you have to. When you're on the road against a ranked opponent and the world is betting against you, I mean, you absolutely have to come out with an edge and a mentality. That's a great drive by Steve.
He's blocked by Hunter Harding, however, out of bounds. It's still on Marquette's end of the floor.
I love that pass, though. I love that pass. Make them be honest. Everybody's ready for that stagger. You catch them sleeping in that corner. Again,
man,
like
he got that beat, Wesley. He got that out of here. That was $1 million move.
Shoot the 3. Like you just talked about.
$1 finish.
Like you just talked about.
That's right.
That pass is a shot.
Ben Gold, look.
There you go. Oh, and maybe that's what it takes now. You know, he did that in the game against George Mason. He was struggling from the 3, and he ended up getting, I think it was a foul, a little floater or something, and then his next 3 drops. Another deflection.
Cam Jones to steal. It's a 3-on-2. Ben Gold tries to rock the rim again. He came up just short, but
there you go. Now you feel it yourself.
Big time move, Ben Gold. We've been waiting for him to come alive offensively. Maybe this spurs him up. But right down the middle, parting like the Red Sea. That man, Ben Gold, is ready to go with a big time flush. Marquette knotted at 11.
Central Michigan playing hard, putting some defensive pressure on Marquette. We're tied midway through the first half. Let's take a listen to the huddle of Marquette head coach Shaka Smart.
Keep the heat on their bigger guys and their flash game stuff. They do not like it. Put heat on the ball without reaching and putting yourself in foul trouble. You're going to go back in with 2 fouls. Play the way we play, but play smart.
we've talked about Marquette's ball pressure, Wesley, and whenever they're getting out and they're pushing up against the opposing five-man, they're doing a really good job of disrupting everything Central Michigan wants to do on the offensive end of the floor. But he's talking to Cade Hamilton. He wants to get him back in the game, but it goes back to the maturity aspect of a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, and that's just doing your work early. I mean, you can be aggressive before the catch, all of that kind of stuff with your body, like Coach was saying, without reaching and everything. Because once they got the ball, the ref is looking too. And so anytime you're starting to reach and it's starting to smack, even if it isn't a foul, if it looks like one. So doing your work early, making the catch be higher, further away, even that takes you out of your offense, out of your rhythm.
Talking about the foul problems for Marquette, and yet they're in the bonus because Central Michigan has been even more foul prone. We have Ben Gold at the free throw line here, 4 of 5 on the season.
I like that aggressiveness from Ben Gold. He's been a little bit tentative this year, and he's settled for long-distance shots. That's what he does well. But when you see a little aggression, sometimes the best way to get back into rhythm, get to the free throw line, get to the rim, see that ball go through the hoop.
That's the only way to get back into the game. You know, myself, whenever I checked into a game, whenever I played a game, you know, what engaged me was being in on the defensive end right away, or I would try to get a rebound. That's is what locked me into the game. Like, okay, I'm here, regardless of my shot falling or not. For Ben, I love seeing him attack the basket, get fouled. You know, he took that hard foul, you know, the other night, and he's a tough kid. I fully expect him to come back and make his next three.
Another foul there, and the big man for Central Michigan going to the line, Ugnis Yarushevicius.
You killed that. That was awesome. I've been working on the pronunciation of this name for a solid 45 minutes, and I'm not even going to give it a go. Look at you.
Just don't ask me to say it again. That might be a one and done. Trey Norman, the foul, by the way, for Marquette.
Nice player, Big Ugnis, Lithuanian national team player in the under-20. Lost to Spain in the championship, in the gold medal game, rather. Has some skill at 6'10", the ability to move his feet a little bit. Not the fastest guy, but good hands, and you can run some offense through him on the perimeter.
Oh, he can play. I mean, he's got a nice release, nice shot, nice touch.
Actually, Terrence, you know what we learned, Wesley and I did, that Yarushevicius can run a 5:30 mile.
Yes.
And I can dunk a 10-foot or 11-foot hoop.
So you're not going.
I'm not going for that.
I mean, he might be more fleet of foot than you think. 5:30 mile at 6'10".
I'm not challenging him.
Yeah, I'll take Coach Barbie's word for it.
Yeah, he got no reason to lie to me.
Officials tonight: Pat Driscoll, Tim Cloherty, Mike Millione. Getting everything sorted out after the foul shots. And it is CMU ball. Vasco inbounds.
There's another one.
Ross intercepts. Mitchell, Joplin. Central Michigan got back in a hurry, but another foul puts David Joplin at the line for Marquette.
Veteran moves, just like Stevie earlier in the game. Not worked on enough is 2-foot fakes, shot fakes. I mean, one of the best to do it in the game right now came from Marquette. Jimmy Butler loves playing off 2 feet. Show the ball, they're in the air, deliver the line.
When you're a guy like David Joplin, you shoot the ball so well, and whenever he gets inside 8 feet, sometimes like he doesn't have the explosion to get up. So him playing off 2 feet sets him up for success.
Exactly, because you can always pass out of it. Sure. And then a guy like that who shoots it so well, sometimes if you can go in, play off 2 feet, reverse pivot and find somebody, some of the best shots are a relocation after the defender loses you.
Pritchard's going to have his hands full with Chase Ross tonight. Pritchard, the MAC Defensive Player of the Year, getting a taste of his own medicine with Ross in his grill. And another foul called here. Goes against Ben Gold. So his second. Kind of an early season game in that sense with all the whistles here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be something to watch now.
I like a little physical post play. Ben Gold understands, like, I'm not the widest guy, so I'm going to have to move my feet a little bit more. Got in trouble whenever you put 2 hands on the guy. Yeah. You wrap around, that's going to be called every single time. I appreciate trying to get around him with his quick feet. He has to do a little bit better of a job.
And again, if you try to meet him at the paint, it's too late.
It's a big shot there for Demarion Bonds, junior, just outside of Detroit. He ties this game at 15. Royce Parham for 3 from Cam Jones.
Very underrated aspect of Cam's game is playmaking. He's going to draw a lot of attention because of his ability to score the ball. And there we go. Royce again.
I think the thing you look at, too, with Cam coming off the screen, they're trying to level off the ball and eliminate his penetration. And it's keeping that second defender there for an elongated period of time. He's had that little hook pass there consistently. And Chase Ross might have 15 steals before the day.
He might take your record, brother.
He gets an assist there. Cam Jones for 3.
This game opens up for Marquette, and they can score in a hurry.
They can score quick. I mean, you got Cam Jones coming off the pick and roll, facilitating. You got Cam Jones getting back on. There he goes, coming off the pick and roll to his right hand, still making a play, picking pop. We watch him work on that all day today. And then we get another deflection, run the court. Big emphasis, spacing. Give yourself up. Find Cam Jones in the corner. I don't know how you lose him, but there it is. Get it out the net.
Great effort by Cam. He was at the top of that zone to get down to that corner. And I think we need to compliment not just Cam, but Chase Ross's decision-making over the course of these 2 games and change has improved dramatically since last year. Shaka Smart talked about how much he's improved. He's really put the time in the gym over the summer, and you can see the results.
And you're seeing a lot of continuity. I mean, you're putting time in the gym with the guys that you've been here for 2, 3, 4 years. You know, you see Chase Ross passing it to Cam. You know, you see Stevie and Josh in transition. I mean, it seems like every transition break, it's any one of those 3, you know, coming down the court.
That's been a real talking point for Marquette as a program to the outside world in the now revolving door of the transfer portal. And Marquette is a team that has not gone to the transfer portal, that has continued to rely on 3- and 4-year players and plans to continue to do so.
And again, I love it. You just went on a run. You just kind of broke the game open again. You don't get comfortable. You make them take clock. Now they're playing against the zone.
Vanderjack now trying to shake Ross. This time it's Cam Jones. Ball loose and out of bounds to the CMU bench.
It's great hustle. Cam Jones dives on the floor. I think when it jumped over, he ended up touching it. Only 4 seconds left on the shot clock, though. Central Michigans have to make something in a hurry. Look at the last little bit of this play. Quick bounce. Right there.
That's a tough
Cam
call.
Jones. It's close.
But this one, you don't want to give up anything cheap. You definitely don't want to foul. 4 seconds. Just show your hands, box out, and run again.
You'll see that 1-2-2 pressure. Let's see if they just stay in front and play with their hands on.
Henny coughs it up. Mitchell for Jones. Left hand. Finger roll.
He's so strong. And the good thing, you look at the guy's shoulders, 6'5", 205 pounds, continuously put on weight. Is he going to go up and dunk a ton of balls? No. But because he's so strong physically, he's able to hold off the defender.
There you go again. Your back is to you. We're coming for the ball. And that's how Marquette plays.
Parham this time with the finish. And 1.
There it is.
Welcome to college basketball, Royce Parham.
I love it.
He did it all himself.
Go out there.
Terrific awareness defensively. Turn your back. Can't do that against this Marquette team. Royce Parham, welcome to college hoops.
And you love the young guy following the vets lead. How many times have we seen Chase Ross do this? Your back is turned. I'm attacking the basket. I'm attacking the ball. Royce sees that same opportunity. Goes and makes a play for himself. Brings the crowd to his feet. Okay, young fella.
Scoop and flush. I'm a big fan of what Royce Parham brings to the table from a skill perspective. Oso Ighodaro was taller.
Yes.
But I feel like his continued development and what Royce Parham can already do, he will have that sort of impact by the time his Marquette career is over.
Absolutely. I mean, and it comes down to him, and we already saw that he works. You know, he was in here before the team scheduled shoot around, getting shots up, working on his game.
Parham's got 7 points. His only his third game in his college career. Mitchell, the three-pointer there, but Harlan has 4 against Stony Brook. You can see the improvement, and Marquette has blown this thing open. A 13-point lead now, forcing Central Michigan to call a timeout after a 13-0 run.
Live ball turnovers, and they're off and running. And Stevie Mitchell, you mentioned it before, Wesley. That guy knocks down threes. It changes this team because it opens up the floor that much more. We know what he does on the defensive end and the kind of leader he is. But like you said, he knocks down shots. It turns his team into something
because
dangerous.
He starts playing confident. I mean, who doesn't like seeing a 3-ball go? You work hard, you defend. He defends people 6, 7 inches taller than him, however much heavier than him. He's in the dunker. He's playing all the tough, dirty minutes. You know, reward yourself, and he's put in the work for that.
If you look at Central Michigan, though, I think the biggest thing that you can take away when watching the Chippewas play, those big men, whenever they catch the ball at the top of the key, you have to turn and face up. Because if you don't, Marquette is so fast around the perimeter, they're grabbing and going before you can turn around. So whenever you catch, turn square up, evaluate the defense, and then you can make some decisions. But we've seen it, guys. They turn their back, Marquette's off to the races.
This game was tied at 15 before Marquette went on this ongoing 13-0 scoring run.
And you see, they're still picking up. You know, still keeping their foot down and not giving you any time to get pressure. Like you said, if you're Central Michigan, I mean, you got to go through it.
Have to take care of the basketball. 12 turnovers, and we haven't hit the 8-minute media timeout yet.
And we said to this earlier, when you get a shot, you get a look, you have to shoot it.
13 turnovers, excuse me. And it's quick decisions, right? Whenever you go against pressure, there's a saying you don't want to fight fire with fire. But at the same time, you can take what the defense gives you, even if it's in the first 8 seconds of the shot.
And right there, I feel, you know, and after talking with Coach and knowing Jacoby, he should take that 3 right there, rather than passing that to the corner and putting our guys, putting your teammate in a vulnerable situation, going against a Marquette team on the baseline.
Marquette's hot right now. They've made 6 of their last 7 shots. Joplin, the kick out. Jones, shot fake. And he throws it away. Might have been tipped, and it stays with Marquette.
It was. Keep the thing simple. I appreciate the drive. Get to that Big East logo and fan out. I mean, you've already drawn 3 people in. Central Michigan in that position. They're back to man off the baseline out of bounds, but showing a 2-3 zone. Just keep the simple thing simple like this one. That's a great play.
Great finish, too. Cam Jones getting it going.
Right there. That's a great inbounds play right there. And now the Marquette, will you continue to put your foot on the gas and not let the game be easy? No.
George Mason came back in the game after that happened.
You can't get comfortable. You know, sports, you cannot get comfortable. You have to continue to do what's working. You can't get bored with winning.
Jonga throws it away. Jones slings it to Mitchell.
Love it.
Making it rain right now.
2 for $1.
Shoot the ball.
2 for $1. My main man, Stevie Mitchell. Great advance pass. 19-0 scoring run.
Off your defense.
And it's all off their defense. You're exactly right.
Mitchell came into the season wanting to improve his 3-point shot. He's 2 for 2 tonight. And Cam Jones with another steal. Okay. Jones and Mitchell. Jones hits the basket and the foul.
So strong physically. What a move by Cam Jones.
I mean, you let him get to that left hand, transition or not, I mean, you're at his mercy. And our guy, Stevie Mitchell, I mean, improving on his game. You know what he does, all the intangibles. You love to see a guy like that put the work in the offseason, and it's showing out 3 after 3. Keep playing.
This game was tied at one point, 15-15. Marquette now leads 36-15, and Central Michigan has not scored in the last 3 minutes, 34 seconds of game time. Really impressive the way that Marquette has taken this game over, Wesley.
And I love this baseline out of bounds. You see the over the top, the quick stagger. Cam Jones, wham, bam, thank you, Cam. That man can shoot threes, and we've known about his shooting ability, where he can pull from, coming off the bounce or coming off a down screen, running away is a tough shot.
That's a tough shot. That might be the toughest shot in basketball, when you're taking your momentum's taking you away from the basket, to get square, get your feet down, get your shoulders low, and let that ball go up over the rim. I mean, that's a big time play. And those are the shots that he's gonna have to make. I mean, and now this is the game right here. Marquette, 24. They got more points off turnovers than Central Michigan has total. And
they've been relentless on the defensive end.
I mean, that's the Marquette way. You know, that's what Shaka's been talking about and preaching, and these guys have completely bought in.
Cam Jones at the free throw line. We're just talking about a very small sample size here, but his field goal percentage through 2 games
is silly.
76.7%.
Shoot more.
He's made his first 4 shots tonight, so he has literally missed 7 times all season now.
And we're not talking all layups and dunks,
right?
Like some of these other guys that have great numbers. I mean, they're off the bounce, they're catch and shoot. The variety in which he's been scoring has been elite.
And he's not getting the best defender every night. So, you know, that's something that you can't take away either. That's nothing to sneeze at either. But not only is he being this efficient in scoring, he's getting the best defender and all the attention.
I think you see the leadership of Cam Jones right here. He recognized the defense switching. He gets his team in the right offense. They get a clean look on the left side of the court. So he's just not able to finish.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a burden, but a burden that's welcome. You know, not only do you have to score, you got to facilitate. You can draw 2. That's the best thing in basketball, to have a guy that can create 2-on-1s without pick and rolls and manufacturing stuff.
Terrence, I just heard you mention leadership, and that's really what Central Michigan needs at this point, right?
100%. I mean, you would like to think it would come from Anthony Pritchard, a guy who we understand to be one of the best returning players in that league. They just haven't been able to hold on to the basketball. But I love this offensive flow that Marquette's playing with right now. The game loosened up. They go up against the zone, and that ball movement continues, even against the zone that Central Michigan jumped into.
Eddie drives gold, and there's Chase Ross.
Your back turns, and they go. I mean, that's, my goodness.
And the ball just not quieting down thanks to Marquette's active hands. And a tie-up is called.
And I like what Jacoby's trying to do. You know, he's trying to get aggressive. He's trying to look for a shot. But at the same time, you got to make sure the court is spaced. And there's opportunity for that. He shot a good 3. You know, the possession before didn't go. You know, Coach said that he wanted to get 30, 40 threes up. And that's tough to do when you're turning the ball over 15 times.
Exactly. Exactly. And Wes, I got to ask you this, too. Like, as you developed your game throughout college and into the NBA, you quit looking to the guy in front of you. You're looking at the help side.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you know you should be able to beat that guy.
You're not even taught to look at your defender guarding. It's where's the help and how can I make this play not only for myself but for my teammates.
So Parham, who is having the best game of his young career, now with 8 points, freshman out of Pittsburgh. And heard about how offensively gifted he is, but he has made an impact on the defensive side of the floor as well. Parham has 2 steals tonight.
Just an all-around good player. And a lot of times you hear, you know, analysts like ourselves or players, we appreciate the versatility. One thing about Parham, I appreciate his defensive versatility. I think this is a guy who could jump out and switch in the last 8 seconds of the shot clock.
Yes, and I mean, he's going to be asked to do that. I mean, especially that you want that because you don't ever want to be taken out of the game for any reason. You don't want to be a liability. So if that's what, I mean, right here, great hedge, great show, get back, great intensity. Talking. Look at that, swarming.
Here's Vasco underneath, Ross with the block. Looks like the Big East all-defensive team on the floor tonight.
They all play for Marquette.
13 steals for the Golden Eagles. That's Cam Jones's first miss from the floor. Vanderjack. And a friendly roll for Central Michigan. They needed that.
They really did. And that's where they're going to get some of their opportunities. You have to push and take advantage when the options present themselves, because if you're not quick with those decisions, Marquette's there.
Vanderjagt with the steal and the hard foul.
That's some athleticism right there. And again, Marquette, you got to be careful not falling into that trap of the game getting too easy for you.
Look at the athleticism of Chase Ross coming down. He almost hits his head on the backboard. Looks like a young Wesley Matthews right there.
I don't know if I was doing that. I don't know if I was doing that. Yeah, he's definitely a special talent.
I said wide receiver. You said free safety.
Yeah, because you see where he jumped over 2 people to try to make. That's a safety. You know, that's someone that's just coming in, making a play, making a hit. But I guess he could go over the top and get a touchdown too.
To clarify, no foul called. Clean play underneath. Still Central Michigan ball, however. Jacoby Hetty with an athletic play to keep it in bounds. And then Jones fouls Bonds.
I love how he almost took him out of the air. I've never seen a player who's fouled in his life. Like, this is a very obvious foul.
I have no fouls in my career. Rel has more than me, for sure. But again, this goes back to Marquette. Like,
you guys were great defensively. And I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just want to ask you this question. You guys were great defensively. You, Jarrell, Dominic James, you guys had some really good defensive teams. You guys did it a little bit differently than this team. A little bit more position-based under Tom Crane, correct?
Yeah, we were more position-based. But when Buzz came, he really turned up that heat for us. We were picking up, we were attacking. We wanted to extend plays, extend possessions. But what we really learned was how you had to guard your yard. You know, we helped and all that, but it was an onus on you. You got to guard your yard. But we prepared for that. You know, in practices, we played against each other, cutthroat, one-on-ones. That's what we loved. See, on some of these, I would love to get better body position so that backdoor cut can't even happen. When the backdoor cut happens, we have to release, and then now that puts you behind the play, and now you can get a cheap foul like that. Marquette is just going to have to stop beating themselves, and while Central Michigan is trying to fight back and find ways to get a rhythm. You know, right now they're doing it at the free throw line.
Vanderjagt misses. Central Michigan, this is what cost them the game in many ways against Stony Brook, not hitting their free throws. Tonight the Chips just 3 for 7.
So this is a bit of an adjustment with college offenses now. Instead of typically getting your big guy in the middle of the floor, you get your best decision maker in the middle of the floor. Cam Jones able to find an open shooter.
And that's smart. I mean, sometimes your best decision maker may be your tallest player, but for Marquette, the best decision maker is Cam Jones, and he's able to make plays.
Coming back our way, right to Terrence Oglesby.
I was considering it.
Well, yeah, you know, you played for Shaka Smart at Clemson, and he said that as soon as you crossed the half-court line, you had the green light.
Well, that was because Shaka gave me that green light. So
Exactly,
let's clarify there. No, a player's coach is Shaka Smart. For one, he left Clemson to go to Florida, then goes to VCU, has tremendous success, makes the Final Four, goes to Texas, has success there. But I really feel like he's found a home here at Marquette. He can do exactly what he wants to do.
Well, I knew you were a good shooter, Terrence, but no one ever told me about your hands. Look at that, right at the middle, lower part of your screen. One-handed, impressive.
Guys, when you play Marquette, you better take care of the basketball, because when they get out in transition, they are deadly. Turnovers on top of turnovers has led to a lot of easy basket for the Marquette Golden Eagles.
And these are not repeat clips. And that, it looks like it, but you turn your back, Marquette is attacking the basketball. They're making plays. They're running in transition. They're spacing. They're finding each other. You know, this looks like a group that is definitely connected. And, you know, they're having fun out here.
Through the first 2 games, starters for Marquette have accounted for 85% of the team's scoring. And that's the question for Marquette. How do they develop their depth this season? And getting 9 points off the bench from freshman Royce Parham is also really encouraging.
It sure is. And here's the thing, too. He's only shot 18% from the field. But you see the differential here. Somebody has to step up. Now, these things are going to fix themselves a little bit when Sean Jones comes back.
Sure.
Marius Owens, he comes back. But Royce Parham, you're able to add an extra guy who can hit some shots, be switchable defensively. You got to find some production because there's going to be games in the Big East. And Wesley, you know this. Play Providence at Providence. You play against UConn. You're going to have to find some production from somebody else besides your top 3 guys.
Yeah, and you know what? After the starting lineup, you know, Marquette is relatively young, and these guys are getting their first real live reps at meaningful basketball. So I think they'll learn. You know, they got a good group of vets that teach, and that was one thing that I was very impressed when I went to a practice. You know, when they were going and getting water, Stevie and Cam and Jock and Chase, you know, they're talking in the huddles with these guys, and you can see that, and that it's infectious. You know, and these young guys will learn that.
Bonds had to get it off before the shot clock expired. Zay Lowry up the floor for Marquette.
And that's a kid that I definitely think has a chance to turn the corner. Watching Chase, watching Jock, and build on his own skill set. He's got a tremendous skill set and confidence. I love how when he attacks the basket like that. I love when he plays defense. I mean, I think he's one guy that can definitely change the complexion of a game. It's just going to be confidence and repetitions.
Talk about the physical attributes, very similar to Chase Ross. I mean, a year younger, but defensively could turn into a plus guy. Offensively shoots a nice ball, and that's a big-time move. Jacoby Hetty. Central Michigan's needed some momentum, struggling a little bit.
And that's what we're going to need from him. They're going to need him to go in. Sometimes he's going to have to put his head down. He's going to have to make plays, but he can't only just make plays for himself. And everybody else, they're going to have to be ready to take their shot.
Great pass.
There it is.
Lowry ready to take his shot there, but it's tipped nearly back in by Hamilton.
Great inside-out basketball. Love that you take that shot, especially after missing the one earlier. And he's the defensive player of the year.
Holy cow.
Ross turns away Pritchard. Ross has been a maniac on the defensive side of the floor tonight.
A maniac, a menace. How about the fact that you can catch up? You're beat for a split second, but you're so athletic. I'll be honest with you. I was a starter for a year in the ACC. Played for Shocker my freshman year, got minutes. If I got beat, I was done. That's not the case with Chase Ross. He is an electric athlete.
It's almost like he baits you.
Exactly right.
He almost baits you to think that this layup is going to be here, and then he can recover.
That's a terrific defensive possession. With Joplin getting out to the shooter, and then you have an X out. His guy just knows to switch. I mean, there's advantages, to this continuity that Marquette has. They know where they're going to be on the defensive end of the floor.
Absolutely. I mean, continuity on the defensive end, is key. When you can read each other's keys and understand what the other one is doing and cover for each other, then, I mean, that's something that's not coaching.
Joplin misses from deep, but it's tipped back to him by Gold. Joplin misses the layup, but a foul underneath.
Right now, Central Michigan, I love that they're huddling, and you got 1:44 right now, and you just got to dig deep, and you got to compete. You got to lean back on what you know. You guys are here for a reason. You know, you're Division I basketball players for a reason. You lean on your confidence, leaning on each other, leaning on the work. You know, we were at the shooting around. We saw coaches is teaching. You know, you put them in situations to understand what they're getting ready to go up against. And now it's, all right, you got 1:44, settle in.
Joplin has all 5 of his points been at the free throw line. Wesley, I remember one thing that Tony Barbie told us. Marquette's going to have 3 or 4 solid runs during the course of the game. And the question that he was posing to his team was, how are we going to answer and respond to those? Marquette's gone on a big one here since the midway portion of the first half. And you almost feel that this could be inside of 20 points at halftime. CMU would honestly feel okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to withstanding a run. Like I said, this minute 44, this is the game right here. Can you guys win this part of the game? Can you take something back into the locker room and hang our hats on? That's a good look right there.
Yeah, and you've got to knock down those shots. If you're on the road and you're playing a team ranked in the top 20 of the country, you have to take advantage of those opportunities. Early in the game, when it started out 15-15, they were doing that.
Jones off the front of the iron, and it's CMU ball.
The zone right now is kind of slowing up Marquette and is doing its job of giving Central Michigan an opportunity to try to stay in. Like you said, you got to make shots, you got to make them pay. I would like Marquette to kind of get into their sets more. Whoever's flashing, flash faster. Space the court, get deeper into the corners, really make that, extend that zone.
Offensive pace.
Yes.
Bonds is smothered inside. good defensive play. Now it's Ross for Jones.
Uh-oh.
And that's just going to come with maturity. You know, in reps. He steps out of bounds right there. See, I like him to shoot that ball, but I understand why he caught and drove. You know, he got to the basket last time, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be the best shot, whether, like you said, if it's in the first 4 seconds, the last 4 seconds. We're not necessarily always playing against Central Michigan. We want to play your best basketball.
Opponent doesn't matter. Exactly.
No.
Uh-oh. And he throws it down on an alley-oop from Anthony Pritchard.
Well, that can get you going.
Up by 20, down by 20, doesn't matter. That is ridiculous.
That can get you going, and that's an athlete.
What a pass by Anthony Pritchard. Up, and away. Jacoby Hetty. That's silly.
But you know what? I love the fearlessness of Chase right there. Like, he felt in his heart he's going to go get that.
He better make this free throw.
I'm definitely watching that one. You got to talk to me and film about that one.
He makes the free throw. Had he missed, though, Terrence, I mean, the highlight's not going anywhere. Officials time.
They bang knees on the way back down. Jongo and Hetty just bang knees. What a play, though. I mean, what a display of athleticism. He's had 4 or 5 over their first 2 ball games. Alley-oops in the same nature. Teams playing zone, and they sneak him right behind. But that's a big-time athlete exhibiting just that. I mean, look at this play. I mean, perfect pass, too. Anthony Pritchard, what he does, throws it up. Jacoby Hetty throws it down. A little bit late, Chase Ross, and he had to pay for that one. But I mean, you talk about generating momentum. That's one way to do it.
You talk about making them pay. I mean, Marquette a little bit lapsed right there, not all the way back on defense.
Jones misses the 3. Vasco runs into Ross, and a foul is called.
Tough call. And Cam's got to let those go. Those are good looks, good shots. Obviously, we want to see those drop. No, but
I'm a big Caden Vasco guy.
Why's that?
He does everything. He rebounds. He gets assists. He scores. He was a food runner last summer. I ran into one of his colleagues at the Marriott that I'm staying at. He also is a groundskeeper at the golf course during the offseason. The man does it all.
he's a groundskeeper
at the local golf course. Now, I didn't get a chance to ask him, but I just know the man works. Multifaceted.
I love that.
DoorDash or Uber Eats, I wonder. 10 seconds to go, first half. Marquette by 15. Joplin for 3. In and out. Bonds the rebound, and the horn sounds on the first half. That one almost went in.
Impressive defensive display by the Marquette Golden Eagles. Relentless on that end of the floor, and it's turned into some mega runs for the Golden Eagles.
Well, this was awfully close for Central Michigan.
Did he count it? Did he get it off the time? That's a shot. Right
That's
there.
close. Demarion Bonds, he's a shooter. That's what he's there for. Man, it was really close.
That was close, but Marquette, after about 8 minutes, takes control of this game in the first half, much to the frustration of Tony Barbie. We're going to return to Fiserv Forum for stats and analysis right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Loons are out. It's time to start the second half inside Fiserv Forum. Number 15, Marquette, on top of Central Michigan, out of the mat, 42-27. Marquette's defense has been suffocating at times, but the Central Michigan team picked to finish third or fourth, depending on the publication, in the Mid-American Conference. They have some athletes. You just saw one a moment ago, Jacoby Hetty, who threw down a crazy alley-oop. But Shaka Smart has to be pleased with the deflections and the steals that his defense has been able to muster in the first half. CMU ball as we get ready to resume action, and it's great to be with you alongside Terrence Oglesby, former Clemson sharpshooter, and Wesley Matthews, who's joining us tonight. 4-year starter at Marquette, all Big East honoree. Great crew tonight. I'm Chris Foster. Thanks for joining us. big man Ugnis Jaroševičius with the handoff to Anthony Pritchard, who was stifled in the first half by Marquette's defense. He gets it going there with a mid-range jumper.
And they needed that to get some offensive rhythm. I want to say that's the first time in about 14 minutes of game action that they've been able to get through an entire offensive set. And Pritchard, preseason MAC Player of the Year for a reason. He has that ability.
Chase Ross with a three right there.
I mean, that's Cam drawing attention, kicking, everybody else being ready and firing.
Ross credited with 2 blocks and 2 steals in the first half as well. The trap comes on Pritchard. Jonga, kick out. Vasco for 3. Good.
There's your guy.
He does it all. Does the groundskeeping at the golf course, brings your food, knocks down threes. Man of many talents.
It already looks like they're a little bit more settled in. 2 straight possessions where they've actually gotten shots up, and they made them both.
Hook pass from Jones out to Ben Gold, short. Central Michigan down a man right now as Jacoby Hetty had to retie his shoe. Rejoins the picture. Shoe's still not really tied on his right foot. Hetty, a little bit short. Jonga tries to put back, and he's fouled.
Excellent offensive possession. Ball changes sides of the floor. Turn your back, and Chase Ross takes off and tries to get to passing lanes. If you don't get that steal, you're vulnerable on the backside. Good job playing cat and mouse with that 3 with Jacoby Hetty, but you have to finish possessions, and Jonga's a terrific athlete attacking the offensive glass.
And it almost seems like Central Michigan's kind of learning the lesson a little bit. You know, they still are turning their backs, and Marquette is still gone every single time, but it seems that Central Michigan's more aware to it, and they're picking it up and they're making plays out of it.
Tony Barbie and his top returner, Anthony Pritchard, point guard for Central Michigan. Jonga, meanwhile, misses both free throws. Something that really cost Central Michigan late in a loss to Stony Brook. Jonga missed 2 free throws at the end of that game as well in a 1-point loss. Chase Ross looking like Cam Jones with that hook pass, but Joplin misses the 3. Jonga with the beautiful pass inside to Jaroševičius.
Not turning the basketball over and being smart in the half court. Joplin fronting the post on a switch. Ugnis understanding the job. Sealing off for the high-low. Central Michigan's come out playing well here in the early going.
And that's what we said they were going to have to do. And that last minute 44, can you get some momentum, and can you sustain that? Can you settle in?
Here's Jonga for 3. Air ball. Tough to rebound that. It's out of bounds on Ben Gold, and it stays with Central Michigan.
Now, if you're Marquette, I want you to continue to do what you've been doing in the first half. You know, you're still getting good looks, quality looks. Ben Gold just had a great look. Chase had a good look, and he made his 3. Job had a good look. Continue to drive, play .5 reads.
What do you mean when you say .5 reads for those who are watching?
.5 reads, what I mean is you're not holding the ball. The ball doesn't stick. You know, other than a few players across the country, their ball is going to be more ball dominant. You know, Cam Jones being one of them. But when you catch it, you either shoot it, pass it, or drive it.
Inside of 10 to shoot. David Joplin knocks it out of bounds out of Hetty's hands. 7 on the shot clock now.
I've never seen a team turn their back more to the defense than Central Michigan. You would think eventually they would realize they're coming from the backside. It comes down to ball handling, just being able to cross over without turning away from the defense. It is putting them in a really tough position.
Kyler Vanderjagt lost it on the way up. Joplin comes down with it. Joplin almost turned his back on Pritchard, and he throws it away. Pritchard for Jaroševičius, too hot to handle. Coming back to Marquette.
Not a very good decision in transition, but we've seen how Marquette has, I'm not going to say been stopped, but they've stalled a little bit when this game is tightened up, right? Whenever you're forced to play in the half court a little more, Central Michigan going from full court pressure, 2-2-1 back to a 2-3, just mixing things up and changing the rhythm in which Marquette's been able to play. And they've been able to slowly creep back into an 11-point deficit after being down 20 late in the first half.
And I got to have a feeling that this is what their game plan was to start. And it's just, you come into this arena, you're in an NBA arena, you're playing against a top 20 team with all this hype, you're on the road, you know, you get nervous. That happens. You know, you get excited. And I think Marquette was ready, and that pressure was something that you know, that was that punch.
Cam Jones just picked up his second foul for Marquette. Petty on Parham. Ross helps out. Ball is loose. Vanderjack on the deck for it. Basco, skip pass. Pritchard. Three-point shooting not necessarily his game. Marquette off the miss. Parham throws it into Mitchell's arms. Caden Hamilton is fouled.
I like this physicality Central Michigan's played with in the second half. You can tell Tony Barbie, who's not shy when it comes to embracing physicality and letting his players know they need to play with more physicality. Royce Parham walking a little gingerly back to the bench.
Yeah, it's hard to say what happened. He was on that drive baseline, that driving kick. You don't want to speculate.
Almost looked like he might have pulled a muscle. Like you said, we don't want to speculate, but he wasn't touched. Non-contact injury. Those are the most worrisome, that's for sure. But hopefully Royce Parham's going to be okay. He's played really well this game.
Stevie Mitchell in the lane, kick out. Cam Jones. Ross launches. Right on line.
Much improved shooter. And again, those are two back-to-back .5 reads. You had Stevie Mitchell driving left into the paint, broke the paint, collapsed the defense, kicks it out to Cam. Cam drives right, breaks the paint, brings in the help. See it out.
Can't emphasize enough, Chris, changing sides of the floor with the ball and loosening up that defense. When they're playing zone and everybody's in their spots, it's tough.
Vanderjack works his way inside after the ball reverses sides. Foul called there on Cam Jones. That's his third.
Marquette, if they're able to get out going, Chase Ross has improved in this matter. Get to the middle of that zone and find a shooter over there. Chase Ross, the lefty, knows what to do.
You're watching College Hoops on FS1, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Marquette on top of Central Michigan, 48-34. Not quite 5 minutes into the second half. Cam Jones, Marquette's leader, with 10 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals tonight. Building off a season where he averaged over 17 points per game. But now it's his show. He is the starting point guard with Tyler Kolek off to the NBA, and he's gotten off to a great start scoring the ball this season and getting his teammates involved.
And you're able to see the kind of attention that he attracts. You see him at the top being guarded by number 30, Anthony Pritchard, one of the best defensive players in college basketball. Maintains his composure, gets rid of the basketball. You see him drawing to defenders. And as a result, the other guys are able to eat. Chase Ross today started out pretty well. 9 points on 2 of 3 from 3. And while we haven't seen the typical scoring that we're used to seeing for Cam Jones, 10 points, already 6 assists, creating for others.
Yeah, and as on the defense, you never want to put 2 to the ball. You don't want to have to do that. As offense, that's the opposite. You want to have to put 2 on the ball. You either have that by having a supreme talent or causing motion chaos through pick and rolls. In this case, Cam Jones can do it both. He can be a one-on-one problem where you have to send help where he makes the play, or he's dangerous in pick and roll.
I got a question for you, because we saw his role last year as primary scorer, and we saw bits and pieces of him being a pure point guard. Tyler Kolek off to the NBA playing with the New York Knicks. My first question is, Cam Jones, is he going to be able to be that guy that creates for everybody else? How much of that is a balance of, hey, I know what I'm good at, I'm going to be this primary scorer, it just being better at that, and also trying to show that you can do a little bit more? Where's that balance?
I think the balance is between him and his relationship, not only his teammates, but Coach Shaka. And to be able to navigate, okay, you got to show the low, hey, we need you to shoot a little bit more, or hey, we got to get you guys going, so that makes the game easier for you.
Game to game, situation.
Yes, everything is always going to be a different situation, but he always has to stay aggressive because that is his #1 threat.
Kate Hamilton, nice move inside.
A terrific pass. Once again, going up against a 2-3, attacking that Big East logo in the middle.
And you let him get to that left, it's a problem.
7 assists now for Cam Jones, and Tyler Vanderjack, meanwhile, kind of taking Central Michigan's offense over. Baker's dozen for Vanderjack. Vasco switches on to Ross. Here's Mitchell with it now. Ben Gold all alone for 3.
That's what he can do. The big fella from New Zealand can knock it down. 6'10", excellent range, loves that corner.
And I love he keeps shooting with confidence. Make one, miss one, doesn't matter. Next one's going up because it's the right shot to take.
Marion Bonds with the mid-range jumper.
It's a good play by Jacoby, getting in the paint, causing a problem.
Central Michigan's been much more assertive with the basketball in this half, knowing that I need to go in creating for myself, and I need to put my head down and get in that painted area. And as a result, they found some more opportunities. It's just when it rains, and when you play Marquette, when it rains, it pours.
High degree of difficulty on that shot by Cam Jones. Central Michigan trailed by 15 at the half. They have it down to 13 right now. Vanderjack in trouble. No look pass down low to Hunter Harding.
So, perfect example, he doesn't turn his back. Vanderjack's able to find the open man. They're sending 2 to the ball every time they turn it back. They misread the situation, and because Vanderjack had a tight handle, he was able to find an easy look for his team.
His back's not turned. He's looking at where he's going, playing off 2 feet, able to pivot through the double team. Remember, it's a fundamental thing.
Foul on Marquette.
Look how good. You don't turn your back. Vanderjack, a good ball handler, keeps his head up, ends up turning his back, but because he keeps his head up and in the play, he's able to find number 12, Hunter Harding, for an easy bucket. And if you don't rotate quickly and your head is up, or the defense doesn't rotate quickly and your head is up, you're going to be able to find teammates.
And that makes a problem. When you put 2 to the ball, that means you're a man down on the backside. So if you can find that, stay strong to the double team, and play off 2 pivot feet, good things going to happen.
Pritchard broke his left thumb in Central Michigan's first game against South Alabama. Hetty for 3. A little bit strong, and then a foul on the floor against Central Michigan's big man, Jarošević.
Jarošević is a bad dude in terms of sheer size, attacking the offensive glass. Hasn't really had his way today, but you can see the size discrepancy and how wide he is compared to Ben Gold. He's still finding his game a little bit here at Central Michigan, but has an awful lot of skill.
Just picked up his 4th personal foul, however, still in the game.
It's a big possession right here. Central Michigan turns it over, had a chance to get it in single digits.
This is Joplin, and Pritchard gets a paw in there, and it's turned over.
And that kind of plays to what Shaka was talking about. You want to know where Pritchard is on the court. You can't just necessarily be driving just to drive. You have to pay guys respect. There's certain guys in the league, you just want to keep them away from the possession.
Vasco short. Jones the rebound, and he surveys. Joplin long from deep. Hetty shots at this point.
And they are so close over the last 3 or 4 possessions to cracking the lid and getting inside single digits. It just hasn't been the case.
For both teams, it seems that both teams' offenses are kind of stalled. Good looks both ways. Now it's just going to be a matter of, you see Cam revving his team up, knowing it's about the defensive side of the ball. You hear the crowd getting into it as well. Can you keep getting stops? Can you get something easy?
Both teams shooting under 30% from deep. Vasco off the mark.
It's a good look. Well executed play.
Let's see what Jones has in his bag. Zayd Lowry on the floor. Gold off the mark. Jarushevicius wrestles the rebound away. Vasco crosses over on Jones, draws the foul, hits the bucket.
Marquette's got a man down over here. That's a tough finish.
How about Central Michigan getting out in transition, giving Marquette a piece of their own medicine. Now down to 9 and a free throw on the other side. Vasco flexing.
Central Michigan is +6 in the second half on Marquette. And a few moments ago, we had the chance to listen in to Shaka Smart's huddle.
Gotta use our heads. All right. CB made a great point. When we shoot threes, we can't go to the glass with one guy. All right? We need 4 guys crashing. 4 guys grabbing the ball down there.
You know, one thing that you got to do is you got to have extra possessions, extra plays, especially when that shot's not falling. You got to have crashers. That's what's been keeping Marquette in this game and taking him over is all these extra possessions, deflections, steals, and offensive rebounds.
And that's a great point. And through the first 2 games, that was one of their biggest keys in order to getting open 3-point shots, because that's the easiest 3 that you're going to get throughout the course of the game. One that comes inside and back out to you where the defense is converged in. Only 4 second chance points today for a Marquette team that's usually much more aggressive on that.
Typically, they want to rebound 35% of their misses. That mark was at 28% last season. They want to get that up. They're at 40% through their first 2 games this season. Trying to keep this scrappy Central Michigan team at bay as Caden Vasco hits the free throw to complete the old-fashioned 3-point play.
How about the resolve from this Central Michigan team? Look at this pressure.
Down picked up by Anthony Pritchard there.
Down 20. This leads down to 8. And it's come from basically giving Marquette a taste of their own medicine, right? Forcing some turnovers and getting out in transition.
And Wesley, as we noted too, Cam Jones not on the floor right now with 4 fouls. Now it's time for someone else for Marquette to carry the burden. Maybe it's Mitchell. No, not that.
It's got to come from the entire team, and the defense is definitely going to have to pick up, finding ways to get easy shots. Not one guy needs to do more than what they're normally doing. Everybody just has to do it a little bit tougher, a little bit harder.
Vanderjack for 3. He's got 16.
We have a game.
Ross into the corner for Lowry.
Stingy on the defensive end has Central Michigan been in this second half. And then they're off to the races and running and sharing the basketball. It's amazing how they're competing when they're not turning the basketball over.
Ross runs into traffic. Vanderjack catches that over his shoulder. Pritchard picks up his dribble. Inside of 10 to shoot. Now 5 for Jacoby Hetty. NBA range 3. Nothing but air.
That's Wesley Matthews' range. I'm not sure that's Jacoby Hetty range.
And Marquette needed that possession. They needed that possession. They can catch their breath, dead ball, and now they can get set into something that they like. The zone is definitely giving them problems.
It was Wesley Matthews' defense to force that tough.
That's right.
That was just me that whole possession, minus the air ball.
You see how less decisive Marquette has been this half. I think that's the biggest takeaway.
And scored in 5 minutes. Foul there on Kyler Vanderjagt.
I mean, you got to credit Central Michigan. You know, Marquette has definitely missed some shots that they would normally make, but at the same time, Central Michigan has settled in, and it looks like Marquette they're not playing with that same intent, to use the word Shaka has used. You know, drive with conviction, do something with purpose.
Mitchell, after a shot fake, it hangs on the rim and falls out. And a travel call. Marquette gets the ball back.
Shaka wanted more crashing, more offensive rebounds. You got Lowry crashing from the weak side baseline, causes that travel on the weak side.
Heard Shaka Smart mention that in the huddle. Not one guy crashing, but 4.
They've got to make the defense move a little bit more. And what I mean by that, my goodness, that can't happen.
2-on-1. Vanderjagt misses the layup. He got too fancy. Joplin spins inside. He's tied up. Ross in the corner. Big 3 for Marquette.
That's a big-time shot. I can't reach enough playing off 2 feet.
Well, they needed it badly, and the spacing wasn't all that great. They had four guys out of the 5 on the baseline. Nobody accounted for Chase Ross, who's had a terrific start to this season shooting the basketball. They've got to move the defense a little bit more when they're playing against the zone. It's a little too aggressive on the defensive end for David Joplin.
Absolutely, and that's the aggression. You have to play aggressive. It just can't be 2, 3 people. This is when you want to see the young guys. This is when you want to see Lowry. Stevie's not a young guy, but I want to see him take more of this burden of attacking and creating for others.
Fouls on David Joplin of Marquette, his 2nd, so that puts Anthony Pritchard at the foul line. Pritchard was a first-team All-MAC player. That's a live ball, 1-and-1. He was the only first or second-team All-MAC player to return to the conference from last season. Marquette trying to grab the momentum back. Ross opposite corner this time. In and out. Mitchell. No one boxed him out. Who else? Lead back to 10 for Marquette. Pritchard wraps it around to Yaroshevicius, who hits the bucket and the foul.
That's a great pass. I mean, you want to talk about threading the needle. Big-time finish by the big Lithuanian.
What did you think of this putback, Wesley?
And I love that. This goes back to Shaka. You want more than one guy crashing. You see one guy, you see the big crash, and the guard has to take the big out, leaves the path for Stevie. Easy cleanup. That's why you got to send multiple bodies to the rim.
Happy Veterans Day to you and yours. We're inside Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. Marquette on top of Central Michigan, 58-50 with 7:22 to play. Neither team has shot the ball well, in particular from long range tonight, fellas. And Terrence, I'm not sure if that is necessarily because of superb defense or if it's just guys missing open shots.
I think it's been a little bit of both. I really appreciated the defensive intensity that Central Michigan's played with here in the second half. And it's been twofold. It's been that, and it's also been them switching to zone and changing up the flow of this game. In the first half, it was defense leading to offense, and Marquette was playing loose and free. Now, on the offensive end of the floor, they've struggled a little bit getting going and finding any kind of flow in the half court.
8 points for the big man from Lithuania, Ugnis Yaroshevicius, on the verge of a double-double, and Marquette playing without Cam Jones at the moment with 4 fouls. Ross, Joplin, 5 to shoot. In and out. Mitchell crashes the glass and almost stole another offensive rebound away. It's CMU ball, however.
Don't catch and hold. When you're going up against the zone, ball fakes, quick passes, sharp passes, that's how you're going to get opportunities. Marquette holding the basketball a little bit too much right now.
You can screen the zone, you can cut the zone. There's ways to manipulate the zone. Overload it, make them have to talk, make the defense have to shift, all of those things.
Another turnover.
0.5 read. 0.5 read.
Joplin, a wild finish. Leaked up to Jacoby Hetty. Turnovers for Central Michigan tonight, just 11 for Marquette. Marquette always superb in the turnover margin under Shaka Smart. Bonds misses a deep three, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Marquette.
He works down there.
He sure does. But you see the Central Michigan offense, they're not turning it over, and it's changing sides of the floor. So if Marquette does a better job of keeping them on one side of the floor, it'll shallow their offense up to where it'll be a lot more difficult for them to find some of these open looks. Demarius Bonds, that's what he does. He shoots threes. And because it changed and you're having to help a little bit, he gets that much more daylight.
And if you're Marquette, sometimes you can get worn down when you keep delivering punches and deflection after deflection and steal after steal, and the team doesn't go away. Then it's kind of like, hey, we have to continue this. We have to continue our pressure. Like you see Stevie, that's what he does.
Great defensive play by Marquette's defensive ace, Stevie Mitchell.
Love the pace.
Almost went wire to wire, but he still goes to the foul line.
Stevie Mitchell, terrific defense. This is what he's known for, quick hands, and he gets out in transition. And that's when Marquette has had success today, not playing against a set defense.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to play against, transition since you're a kid. So, I mean, obviously that's the goal.
Especially the goal when they can't score in the half court.
Absolutely. When you're struggling in the half court, I mean, you have to find ways to still put points on the board. Through the free throw line, easy layups, easy catch and shoots, things that are warm-up nature. And transition is a warm-up type of situation in basketball, which is why you find guys more comfortable in it.
Vasco crosses the half-court line. Hetty got away with the travel. And he puts it in and draws the foul. Quite a reversal and outcome there.
Kobe Hetty, I mean, a big-time scorer last season at Bethune-Cookman. A transfer, averaged over 15 points a game. But no doubt gets away with the travel, but good ball movement. You got to put that ball down. Not one travel, but two. Marquette got a raw deal right there, but Jacoby Hetty heading to the free throw line, trying to make this a 6-point ball game.
Yeah, that's a tough break. Rather than a travel, you get your fourth foul.
That's right. That was fourth foul on Ben Gold as well. But much to the crowd's pleasure, it's Cam Jones. Royce Parham also onto the floor as well.
And if I'm Cam Jones right now, I'm not coming in to save the day. I'm coming in to steady the ship. Because right now, Marquette has had a hard time generating any offense. They need their leader out on the floor to try to create some easier looks. Exhibit A.
Joplin just misses the open look.
And that's what he does. I mean, he's going to have all sets of eyes on him. And he's going to have to be smart and understand that.
Bonds off the mark.
Meaning he can't take himself out of the play, out of the game with a dumb foul.
Parham injured on the other end of the floor as Jones puts one up off the side of the backboard and draws the foul. Something happened.
I think he's cramping. I saw Shaka's.
Okay.
It looks like a cramp. Which, to be honest with you, is a bit shocking to me. I mean, he's only played 13 minutes today. He did have a heck of a pregame workout, though. He did, because he came in early.
Okay. Jones hits the free throw. We saw Parham tweak something in the first half also on a baseline drive. He's slowly making his way off the floor right now, and to the point of steadying the ship. Cam Jones is trying to do that at the foul line. 11 points for Jones, and now 12. Nearly threw it away. Vanderjack able to save it as he throws it off Chase Ross. A late sub called for Marquette. Trey Norman into the game for Cam Jones.
Only little offense, defense. Cam having 4 fouls. You're awfully close to the 4-minute media timeout. Try to save him as much as you can and steal some possessions, because you know you're going to need him to close this ball game out.
Yeah, that's a very smart play to be able to do that in game like that.
Pritchard finishes on the second try.
That was a good battle. That was a good battle. You would love to see Marquette, everybody else come in and swarm, but to see Pritchard stay with his shot. They're playing confident.
Marquette calls a timeout.
Central Michigan, they're battling back in this one. Anthony Pritchard's been leading the charge. Relentless are the Chippewas, trying to steal one on the road.
Matthews and Terrence Oglesby, who knows a thing or two about podcasting.
We
Chris
got
Foster's on hand. Great to be with you.
Yeah, we got a couple of good podcasters, apparently. I've caught up. The K1 and Stewie show. They say Cam is kind of the goofball, and Stewie's like all business all the time, so it makes for a good thing. This is a new generation of NIL opportunities. They just moved it off campus so that they could monetize it. Year number 2. And if you want to know their opinion about this game, which I'm eager to hear about now after Central Michigan's come back, tune into that podcast.
Yeah.
I love whenever I'm able to see young people try to take advantage of every opportunity. I think that's pretty cool.
What are your thoughts about NIL, Wesley, as a former college player? You were here at Marquette for 4
wish
years.
it was here when I was here.
Okay.
I'm jealous.
But you know what? I'm happy for the kids. You know, I really am, and it's a whole different world. I mean, it's definitely changed.
Official word, by the way, from Marquette. Royce Parham is dealing with cramps, which is good, and it's not something more serious. That is the official word on the Marquette freshman. 5 to shoot for David Joplin. A heave-ho off the back iron. Pritchard the rebound for Central Michigan. And Vanderjack pops it up. More good defense by Marquette. Their 18th steal. Ben Gold for 3. What an answer.
Needed it badly.
That's a big shot.
Unbelievable. How about Tony Barbie? Not happy, gets a quick timeout, but I love the decision coming out, doing a nice job finding ways to score. They get out in transition, and Cam Jones knowing exactly what to do. Ben Gold, he does as well.
It's a 9-point game here, under 4 minutes to play. Marquette leads Central Michigan, and a couple Golden Eagles are in foul trouble right now. 2 starters, as a matter of fact. Cam Jones and Ben Gold with 4 each, and no one for Central Michigan has 4 yet, but a couple of their key pieces are close.
Yeah, and that's big, especially Cam Jones for Marquette, 4 fouls, and Ben Gold as well. It's such a great rim protector. Obviously, we see that he can shoot the ball and spaces the court well. So it's going to be a matter of how can you play and stay on the court.
It's been a really physical ball game, and both teams attacking ball handlers when they turn their back. We've seen that with consistency, and as a result, sometimes you get a little too aggressive. You see it, though, the turnover differential, it's quite alarming, to be honest with you. This game's as close as it is. The majority of those turnovers, Central Michigan committed in the first half. They just kept battling here in the second, actually made this one a game where, guys, I'm going to be honest, we were nervous. We were queuing up some of our extra material because we didn't know if this game was going to get close again. Central Michigan, you have to applaud their effort and their willingness to keep playing through a lot of adversity in that first half.
Wesley, I remember Tony Barbie telling us at shoot-around this morning that if the game gets to the 80s points-wise, that doesn't bode well for Central Michigan. Not even close to that, and it's pretty late.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that you got to win in multiple ways. You know, he's a big boxing fan, he says, and every fight is going to call for something different. You know, they initially like to get up and down in transition, and he didn't feel that this was the spot for them, the best position for them to do that with Marquette.
One on the shot clock, and Jacoby Hetty had no idea. A shot clock violation. Marquette would have played defense for 60 seconds if they had to, and Tony Barbie.
There's a thing called a shot clock is what he just, and I'm not saying verbatim what he said.
Yeah. I can read between the lines there.
Hey, I'm not, like, that can't happen out of a timeout. You're down 9 points, you've battled back in, you have to find a shot coming out of a timeout.
There's certain things that are inexcusable, and that is definitely one of them in the sports world with basketball. There's Cam John, 2 again.
Gold misses from 3. And then a foul called on Marquette. Stevie Mitchell not on the list of Marquette players in foul trouble. That's just his first. Central Michigan, though, has been a little shaky at the foul line tonight, just 11 of 17. 2 shots here.
Tony Barbie is beside himself. He has been animated on that end of the bench.
4th-year head coach at CMU. Thinks it's his most talented team that he's had in Mount Pleasant.
I mean, they're showing it. They're definitely showing it. To be down 20, to be in the game right now.
Foul called on Tyler Vanderjagt. That's his 4th.
Did you see as soon as Cam Jones came back in this game? Central Michigan, the Chippewas, they had gotten it down to 6 points. And it just seems like since Cam got back in the game, everybody kind of settled in. The shot quality went up. Now, they're not making it. You got to make shots. But the shot quality's gone up. Everybody seemed to take a deep sigh of relief. And I think when Sean Jones comes back from injury, that's going to make a big difference. That's another guy they're going to be able to lean on.
And you make a point about shot quality. There's a thing about shot quality. When everybody knows where the shot's coming from, it's a team shot, it's a rhythm shot, everybody feels good about it. That helps your transition defense.
Yeah, somebody helped David Joplin with his shot quality. 0 of 10 from 3 today, 0 of 11 from the field.
You know what? He's got to keep stepping into him. Get to the foul line, you know, but he's been on the floor, he's been getting loose balls, he's been rebounding. You know, he's just different ways to impact the game. That's what he's got to do.
Under 2 minutes to go. Vasco throws it up in the lane, in and out. Vasco nearly cleaned up his own miss. Ross covers it up on the hardwood, and a jump ball is called. Marquette ball.
I like Vasco's effort, but you see the second and third opportunities. It's been that kind of night. I mean, the shot making hasn't been there. Vasco giving it a good effort. You got to be the first to the floor.
And with that being said, do not play with your food if you're Marquette. They're not. Central Michigan is here right now. There's a minute 37, and you're going to have to win this game.
No surprise. Ball in the hands of Cam Jones. Now Stevie Mitchell. Mitchell met at the rim and fouled.
Wes and I thought the same thing. He gets past the initial line of defense. Good quickness. Use that left hand.
Stay left. Get 3 points. Hey, we'll take it. He'll take a foul.
But he had that entire
He had
side.
that entire left side. Maybe he was thinking about turning it over.
Might have been. Probably thinking about dunking it. Shaka happy that they're at the foul line, though. Stevie Mitchell can knock those through. Now, wouldn't be shocked to see Marquette get into one of their pressures after a free throw. And they weren't able to make it.
Time running out for Central Michigan. Vanderjagt nearly gave it right back to Marquette. Petty for three. Too strong. And a foul called on Marquette.
Who they giving that foul to?
It's not on Cam Jones, but it is on Ben Gold, who also had 4 fouls. So he is over the limit.
Tough night, Ben Gold. 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3. He's got to find different ways to find his rhythm. I feel like he's double and tripling down on the long ball. He's got to find another way to find his rhythm. He's got to get inside, get a couple of easier looks, as Shaka's going to use every bit of time he's allowed to take to sub Caden Hamilton into the game. Ben Gold's as talented as you're going to find. 6'10", can dribble, pass, and shoot. But he's struggled to open this year because I don't think he has a plan B. Like what do you do to generate your rhythm? You can't just rely on making one shot and hoping it to be like 3 or 4. He's got to find something else.
Yeah, for me, I was always assigned to the best player, to guard defensively. So I had to go into a game engaged. But the big thing for me was the rebound. My grandmother, rest in peace, one of her favorite things about basketball was rebounding. So whenever I was down or whatever it was, she would always say, "Go rebound." And so that's what I would do, and that would give me lots of the game.
Wesley, one thing coaches never told me to do was guard the other team's best player.
Do you have a favorite in particular that you like to lock horns with, drawing a defensive assignment, either in college or the NBA?
Anybody. Anybody. Obviously, I've played against some of the greats, and it's been a blessing. I learned a lot of basketball from playing against Kobe Bryant. A lot of basketball. The way that he approaches the game, the way he attacks the game in game, it's like a constant adjustments. It's a foot fake here, it's a shot fake here. He's never going to let you get comfortable. And as a defender, I kind of try to take some of that and add that to the defensive part of the game. I'm never going to let you get comfortable on offense. And in order to do that, you got to add stuff to your toolbox. It's like, to be an elite scorer, you got to add game, you got to add. You know that. You got to extend your range. As a defender, you got to pick up on tricks, and a lot of it is cerebral.
"15 points for Stevie Mitchell." I'm sure we'd want to take a page out of your playbook, Wesley, in terms of defensive acumen.
He's got the quick hands, that's for sure. This guy.
Quick hands right there from Chase Ross. Mitchell lays it in. And a timeout called. Central Michigan burns its final timeout. This game just about out of reach with 34 seconds left.
And it comes on the defensive end of the floor. Chase Ross, those long arms. I'm not sure what Jacoby Hetty was thinking, going and trying to dive on the other side of the floor. Just go pick that ball up. But Stevie Mitchell, the kind of player he is.
Right place, right time.
Exactly right. And at this point, too, it's a formality. Like, get possession of the ball if you're Marquette, make some free throws, and let's go home. Tony Barbie, though, coaching every bit of the 39 minutes and change to keep this thing going. It doesn't get a whole lot easier for them. George Mason, who just lost here at Marquette, really talented team.
And they play hard.
They sure do. And then you look at what Marquette has coming up. This Friday is going to be a battle in College Park, Maryland. A lot of really good players.
Looking forward to that. I mean, you just had the comforts of home, And now it's time to take this on the road. And this is what has to carry with you, your defense and deflections. And that's what carries. And, you know, tonight was a record under Shaka. You know, 65 deflections. The previous record was 56. And that's what's going to have to carry you. And that's what's carrying them tonight, because it definitely wasn't their offense.
Yeah, they're going to have to find some more offense for sure. But all of that being said, still 70 points. But, guys, I want, you know, Fox, FS1, a lot of Big Ten work, right? Maryland has a really good team, and most notably, they have a terrific freshman named Derek Queen. Already had a 22-20 rebound performance in the first game of the year. He is that kind of special. Also grabbed Rodney Rice from Virginia Tech, a terrific talent out of the D.C. area, comes back home and plays there. And then Jacoby Gillespie, another Belmont transfer, had a lot of success, transfers up. That Maryland team has a real shot at making some noise in the Big Ten, and an excellent litmus test for this Marquette team with their pressure, with Cam Jones at the lead guard, their first true road game of the season, and that's going to be a fun one to watch on FS1.
Sure will. A nice mini gauntlet for Marquette to face in non-conference play before the grind of Big East play begins. Pritchard, short. Shot clock turned off. Vanderjack hits it. It's an 8-point game. Stevie Mitchell fouled by Vanderjack. Stevie Mitchell is Marquette's leading scorer tonight with 17 points. Vanderjack fouls out. Central Michigan huddling up.
Tony Barbie's going to make us stay here every second that he can.
I think aware of the opportunity that this is for his team, which is still gelling. They
100%.
like the parts individually, but have not had a lot of time to play together. There were some preseason injuries,
especially to their bigs, correct?
Yes.
And you could kind of see that tonight. You know, it was like two different teams this game. First half, couldn't get the ball across half court. Second half, they settled in. They made it a game.
Tony Barbie's intense on the sideline. But you're absolutely correct. I mean, tale of two halves. Central Michigan really good here in the second. And, you know, it comes down to those finer details, those little details, not turning your back at the top of the key, not giving other teams chances to take advantage. And, I mean, night and day. And that comes from experience and being on the floor more.
Bonds stepped out of bounds. And now Marquette can take this one to the finish line. Not quite. Marquette gets the ball in, and now Tony Barbie and the Central Michigan Chippewas call off the Dogs. Marquette to 3-0 with an 8-point win over CMU. Fellas, this was a ton of fun. Wesley, great job. T.O., every bit as advertised. Enjoyed working with you both. Marquette moves on. Another win in the win column for Shaka Smart. 70-62, the final score. Have a great night, and thanks for watching.